In what way do you confront your spirit daily?
In the very structure of this ministry. That's when they say we're going to cover a life. It's covering it in every sense of the word. If it hadn't been for the body, wow, how much trouble I would have caused.
I realized that what I was investing time in was something so false, and it wasn't going to lead me to eternity.
That's why dying is setting aside your will and taking on his purpose. Rosalia Castro, it's so good to see you.
Thank you, thank you. Same for me.
It's a joy because you're someone who has always been very steadfast since your beginnings. How long have you been in the ministry?
I arrived in 13.
In 2013. In 2013. It's been 13 years in the ministry.
Yeah.
Wow. And how did you come to the ministry?
Well, I came through a niece of mine from over there in the United States. I was on vacation there, and yet this is where I truly belonged, where I came from, and where my roots and religion were planted. But honestly, I just didn't feel comfortable there anymore. And when I finally went back, I felt obligated to attend her church, the one where she actively participates, the one she calls home, her own congregation. I believe I mentioned to you that I had promised to go there with her, and that I wasn't planning on staying here. No, not that time. That was the first time, I guess. Well then, so I went. I was going with her to church. And I told her that I wanted to find a ministry, but not a Pentecostal one, because I don't like that religion. And that I wanted to join a ministry, because I wasn't comfortable anymore with the religiosity of the Catholic Church. And she was actually the one who spoke to you first, and then you sent Pastor Damaris to look for me. And that is really how we eventually arrived here.
How tremendous, how tremendous. And the good thing, look at how you connect, being in the United States. Then later you come to the Dominican Republic, you stay connected here, they train you, they prepare you. Then you were going to Europe, to Italy, and us, no matter where you've moved, Santo Domingo, United States, now in Europe, and we still always reach you.
That's right.
And how has your experience been being part of this ministry that follows you wherever you move?
Well, honestly, for me, it has been something truly special, and how do I even begin to explain it? It is incredibly rewarding for me to constantly feel that genuine support, no matter where I happen to be. I feel so protected, and it's like I just feel so deeply content and truly at peace. I feel so committed every single time I am out there, and whenever I am called upon, whether it's a pastor coming to consolidate me or just someone reaching out, it really means the world. I always feel so incredibly welcomed, and honestly, it just makes me feel so good inside.
That's amazing. And your experience in each territory from a distance, having this connection, how has that experience been? You say, wow, I have all these tools for myself.
Well, my personal experience in every single place where I have been is that I can truly notice that there are absolutely no barriers between us, that there is no distance at all. It feels like wherever I am deeply connected to everything around me. Even if I am out there in the world, for example, and I don't see the people directly, I do know in my heart that here I owe myself entirely to this ministry to which I belong. And I want to emphasize that I never ever lose my connection with what the ministry is, what it stands for, and the profound impact it continues to have on my life and the lives of others every single day. Whether it's to give studies, for them to give to me, for them to call me, and this, wherever I am, I give, I do the work, I fulfill the mission.
I love that, how you describe it, both how you have moved in different countries and how you can work, how you receive, how you give, how they create a work dynamic for you so that you are part of the Great Commission of Salvation. Wow! That's amazing. You enjoy that, I imagine.
I enjoy it very much. It fills me with much joy.
It's very powerful, because a lady like you, and to see that your life has meaning, that your life didn't go like many who have slumped in a corner uselessly, And you, a woman who moves wherever and however, you serve the kingdom, that is very powerful.
That's right. That's right. Because once you have that knowledge, when you are on that platform, when you know that this is what there is, that there is nothing else, then what is it that we do? Wherever we are,
And look how powerful that you, through yourself, have connected many of your family, your children. How have you known how to bring everyone into the kingdom?
yes, my nephews and my daughters, thank God for that. My daughters, we really connected. The little one and I, we connected together so beautifully. And then my daughter too, the oldest one, and so on. It just all started falling into place for us.
There are no barriers. Of course, that's right, to ensure that those who are missing arrive. Sure, but the powerful thing is how there have been no limits, how by getting you have received, because you have known how to connect your own. Wow! And what has been the most difficult thing about understanding who you are?
Well, the most difficult thing is the rebelliousness. Sometimes that has cost me a little bit, but I've really worked hard on it. And honestly, I finally yielded to those things because I realized it was necessary. After you know, for example, you know, and they prepare you, you know. And once the word has been explained to you, it's explained. You read it, you see, then you say, it's not this. It's not how I saw it. It's not my flesh. It's what's coming. It's the Spirit. That's what's going to guide me. That's what's going to tell me.
It's powerful because really I imagine that rebellion has also brought many consequences.
Of course it has. Of course it has.
No, it's so good that there's a knowledge that confronts us every day. For us with the word, the connections, on one hand they free us and on the other hand they keep renewing us. Because look, seeing you for 13 years, I who have known you from the start and how you arrived through a friend who was your relative, who isn't in the ministry, and she was the one who called me to say, look, an aunt of mine who is going there, help me out. And look where you were 13 years later with your daughters. That says a lot. For you to have a structure that can sustain people with their demands, people with all their marks and who have been able to overcome stages and seasons. That is something that is a lot. Sure, it's a lot and then some. Sure, and especially you who are a woman of service who has been sent on missions that you've been, it's like, wow, how beautiful. When we have children to send, that's why we call it apostolic. We are sent, and you have been sent. How good, that one can enjoy something, as the word says, the joy of salvation. Which is nothing more than you expressing what you have received, and that is what I see in you. Well, I've always seen you present. I've always seen you active. I've always seen that you've been giving of what you receive.
That's right. That's right. In the practice of what I've received. Because it's like I tell you, at one time, for example, that rebellion, that thing, but that is worked on and now won, that way of rebellion, that is being cast aside. So you go on showing and bringing out what it really is through knowledge. You start saying, but it's like this, Petro, this is the way that I have to walk. And we have an advantage. We have a ministry, which is a ministry for us, and that knowledge is available 24/7. Wherever you may be, wherever you may go, you already have a lifestyle. That lifestyle is what speaks for you. Because, for example, the fruits. The fruits.
Of course. And what has it meant for you to have the support of the body throughout the years?
Well, that has no comparison. There's no explanation for it, how I felt with the support from the ministry. I have been very blessed, I can say, because Everything, everything. If, for example, I feel I'm wrong about something, and for example, I call the pastors, you know that one has an assigned pastor. I could say that I've never had an assigned pastor because I just reach out to whoever. And they answer me.
How tremendous! How nice to hear from a person with 13 years in the ministry. Even the one on the camera has 13 years. That meant that when you arrived, he was being born. And today you're talking about how wonderful it is every year to feel the body with you, and the one on the camera has 13 years. The same amount of time that you have here in the ministry. That goes to show how powerful it is to be able to grow as a body, to expand, and no matter where the children are to reach them. What a powerful dynamic. What benefit have you received by sowing yourself for the kingdom?
Well, I have truly received so many profound benefits in my life that it simply cannot be compared to anything else, Apostle. Because knowing, being able to give back, being able to truly know, and being able to help others in need, being able to explain these things, that is something that one just has no way to fully explain. It is an experience that goes beyond words, and I am deeply grateful for every single moment of it. I can say that I have received many benefits. Why? Because the knowledge that I gained there has shaped me. And I myself can testify because the Rosalia now is very different from the Rosalia that was.
Of course. Those are the things that no one can explain. Only you know where God brought us from.
That's right.
And only you know the 360 change that you've made.
Sure, where you finally realize and you know, wait a minute, was I really doing it that way? Was my mouth opening for this and that? And look at the change I've made, because my mouth is for blessing. You know that what was in the past, that can't continue anymore, because you're a new creature, and you know, you have the knowledge of how you're going to move, how you're going to do things. Even if one isn't perfect, because I'm not saying that I'm perfect, because I still have a long way to go.
Sure, at the end of the day, it's quite the opposite. We aren't perfect. It's because we aren't perfect that we connect. You see? That's why we connect, because we aren't perfect. Now, how do you manage to stay aligned with the prophetic timeline of the house?
Well, by connecting. I'm not going to tell you that I connect to everything, because if I tell you, oh, I'm connecting to everything, I'd be lying to you. And it's like I say, the fruits are what's seen, the fruits say who you are, the fruits are what show it. But yes, connecting, and I mean truly connecting, to the Word, really knowing deep down that I have to depend on that Father. Because, honestly, if I don't depend on God for everything, then what am I even doing? Where would I be?
Sure. The Word says they call me the great Lord, but don't do what I say. And when you connect with what you're hearing, what he says, because how do I do it if I don't know? Like the Ethiopian said to Philip the evangelist, how am I going to understand if they don't explain it to me?
Yes.
And that's what connecting means, you knowing what to do, how to manage yourself, how to move, how to identify. That rebellious Rosalia that you've now submitted to the Word. It's very powerful to hear this, because it's so good that this Word, as the manual says, that after all it's a double-edged sword, and that it comes to disjoint, and it comes to split and break all those marks and iniquities that at one point had you subjugated, that had us totally enslaved. And hearing you with that authority, how you've known how to overcome seasons in being a single woman, you've had to take charge. Your children, your family, and your ministry of firmness, and you say, wow, that's quite extraordinary.
That's right.
Wow. And in what way do you confront the arguments contrary to the prophetic line of the house?
The arguments contrary to the opposing line. Well, what can I say? I say that everything that comes outside of God's purpose is something negative, so what do we have to do? Go against all those things, against all that negative side. We're going to confront it through the word, through knowledge, assuming what the manual of life tells us.
Sure, the word says that the sword of the Spirit is the manual of life, the word of God, and the darts of the evil one must be dismantled, because if you let the evil one go, planting little words, little arguments, and you don't come to connect to dismantle that, suddenly he's built a house, a structure on top of you. Tied up again. No.
Of course, when you see something contrary coming, you say, lie of the devil, this isn't true.
Sure.
Sure. But we do it that way because we already know that we've been trained to know and choose between good and evil. So, since one already has the knowledge, that little bit of knowledge that one has, well, one relies on that knowledge. When Satan comes wanting to tell you, look, that's a lie, go this way, get out of there, whatever, then you know the answer, because you already know, you have the knowledge, and you know that's not true.
That's the beautiful part of knowledge, that you no longer let yourself be manipulated, you no longer let yourself be cornered, you no longer give what's yours to another, like one used to live without knowledge, giving the devil our rights. And I like what you say, that's a lie. Oh, how good it is when you know how to call a liar a liar.
Sure.
That's authority. That's authority. Telling the enemy to shut up, because the word says that Satan is the father of lies and has lied from the beginning. God.
That's right.
If you don't go against him and shut him up immediately, boy, he'll set up a chorus of voices for you.
You know it.
That's very powerful. And how good it is to have the tools to dismantle those agendas and those programs.
That's right.
What have you enjoyed most about being able to serve others?
Well, I honestly enjoy every single part of it because there is such a deep sense of satisfaction when you can truly serve, reach out to another person, and just give that little bit of yourself to help them along. That for me is very satisfying. I say, oh my God, could it be that I'm overwhelming the person? Because when I go to serve or I'm going to give a study to a person, I'm always in the habit and I ask them a lot. Did you understand? Anything that you don't understand, you just ask me. And I insist on that a lot because many times you see how and they tell you yes, yes. So I insist and I tell them, look, tell me. In the end, you can tell me. That if I can't answer you, someone will come who will tell you what's what, and I feel good serving. I feel good when there's a baptism and I'm there. That for me, those are my parties, to tell you more. To tell you those activities, those are my parties. That's everything to me, and look, I go rarely, but let me tell you something. Even if I go rarely, that's my thing, because that's it, and another thing.
You know that part of how one serves is that one reflects the giving by grace what by grace one has received, and that I have always seen in you. Because the quality with which you've always done things, that always caught my attention about you all my life, always with that elegance, always prompt. Wow, you're a woman who has transmitted so much without making much noise, and everyone notices it. Everyone notices it. And look where it comes from. How good to hear you here today, because it's only now that one knows that it's a gratitude that is in you. A gratitude, that's why you enjoy the service.
Yes, thank you.
Wow, and what things have you had to renounce to see the kingdom integrally in you?
Well, to myself.
Oh, wow.
Renouncing myself, that monster of Rosalia, I've had to renounce so much. I've had to struggle, apostle, just quietly like you just said. I've had to walk this path. But I give many, many thanks to the Word, and then, of course, to the ministry for guiding me through it all.
Yes,
Because I have, my way changed, my life has been different. I am grateful for this knowledge. Just as you see me being quiet, I've applied it to myself. I've applied it to myself and I've gotten a lot out.
of course, you know that when one says that. Subduing the monster, many don't understand that it's about subduing your will and saying, it's because of what the word says, yes, but they did this to me, or a fit of rage or anger. I'm going in there. I'm going to send everyone to hell. No and no. It's not like that. Evil is not overcome with evil. Evil is overcome with good. And that's what I see. A person who has preferred to subdue their soul and say, no, I'm not going to give in to the soul. I'm going to give in to the spirit. And that is synonymous with death.
Right? Of course.
Yes. And it's so good to hear that from you. Because like you say, even though you see me all quiet, I've fought with a monster that if I hadn't subdued it, listen, today what I've achieved, I wouldn't have any of what I've achieved.
That's right.
Because staying stable in a world where there is so much instability, that is a miracle from God.
Of course, it's hard.
Exactly. You know what I mean? And for that, look at the secret. Oh, no, she only faced the monster. Hardly anything. It wasn't hardly anything. She had to tell her will, submit to the prophetic guidelines. We're going to depend on the Spirit. It's not because of what you say. You understand? It's because of what He says. And look at the results.
Yes.
It wasn't a magic wand, no. It wasn't with a magic wand. You're like the Apostle Paul said, I have the marks, so let no one come and make noise at me. Only I know. You understand? The process I've lived through.
That's right.
Very powerful, very powerful. And in what way do you prepare for the coming of Christ?
Well, depending, assuming his will. It's the only way for one to prepare by looking at the path, taking that narrow little path that you can't even fit through, that little path.
One day at a time, one day at a time. Look, that's how it is. The word says that when He comes, He should find us doing so. And how so? Depending. You said it clearly, depending. And I'm like, wow, look at that explanation. It looks so simple, but like you say, that dependency is subduing a monster, saying,
Yes,
it's dependent this way, but it's not what I want. It doesn't matter. It's not what I like. It doesn't matter. You understand? It's what's meant to be, and that is depending. One day at a time, depending. Anyone would think that's silly. It's like, oh, but you're just being lazy there. No, not just sitting back. I'm relying. And you've seen the results of that, because there are benefits to relying.
yes,
There are benefits to relying. The manual of life says, seek the kingdom of God and His righteousness, and all other things will be added.
and all other things will come.
Okay. So yes, it's possible. What are you grateful for being connected to this ministry?
Everything. I'm grateful for everything. Everything about being connected to this ministry. Everything. Because, like I said, I've learned so much. It's just that. Being in the ministry, I've handled myself really. I believe I've handled myself more or less the way the Father wants.
That's amazing. When I hear that word everything, sometimes I say, wow. There are others who aren't grateful for anything.
Everything, I'm grateful for it. Because if I'm alive today and if I am the way I am, I thank the Father for it. Everything.
Wow. I was saying that sometimes there are others who aren't grateful for anything, and it's because the only thing the ministry has is, as the word says, what I have I give to you. The only thing here is words, tools, so that you can face this life. We don't have more than that. If you're looking for something else
You can't go looking for anything else. You can't go looking for something else.
other than that, sure, but sometimes there are people who want other things, but the only thing we have is seek the kingdom of God and his righteousness. So, it's good to hear how you've known how to enter this structural dynamic for 13 years. And look at the results. So, Rosalia Castro, I hope this happens again.
Oh, yes. That's muted. I was saying, oh, but everyone calls and they're not going to call me.
That's amazing. Laughter, that's good. Laughter, music.